Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the lies of this administration. Even David Letterman has come out and said the president is lying about Mitt Romney, and it's disappointing. That is phenomenal to me. I wish it wasn't. I wish David Letterman was not disappointed in the president in lying about Mitt Romney, and more people were upset about the unbelievable lies about Libya, because Libya is not about politics. Libya is about the security of the United States of America. After we found out that the emails were pouring in the terror attack in Benghazi during the attack, and we had drones and surveillance available, and it was happening in real time in the Situation Room, and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Leon Panetta was at the White House meeting with the president, while there were drones in the sky over Benghazi and people were watching them. We can't find out. We don't know if the president saw that. We don't know if the Secretary of Defense, but I will tell you, with drones in the sky and others watching, why there would be an attack in an embassy in the United States and our Secretary of Defense and our president wouldn't be aware or watching it is remarkable. White House spokesperson Jay Carney said from Air Force One yesterday, we had a variety of information coming in. Okay, well, I'm sure that is. Maybe Sasha and Malia had, information coming into the residence from the Disney Channel. Maybe Phineas and Ferb. I'm not sure. Maybe the Food Network was on, with Michelle. Maybe she was checking the food police there. I don't know. What am I going to ban from school lunches next? But the specific information we're talking about, the emails and the dozens of reports from intelligence, along with real-time video live from the event, that should have meant something other than a protest due to a YouTube video. This administration insults the American intelligence and spits in our faces every single day, just as Hillary Clinton did yesterday.
On Benghazi. Look, I've said it, and I'll say it one more time. No one wants to find out what happened more than I do. We are holding ourselves accountable to the American people, because not only they, but our brave diplomats and development experts serving in dangerous places around the world deserve no less. The Independent Accountability Review Board is already hard at work, looking at everything, not cherry-picking, one story here or one document there, but looking at everything, which I highly recommend as the appropriate approach to something as complex as an attack like this. Posting something on Facebook is not, in and of itself, evidence. And I think it just underscores how fluid the reporting was at the time and continued for some time to be. What I keep in mind is that 4 brave Americans were killed. And we will find out what happened. We will take whatever measures are necessary to fix anything that needs to be fixed. And we will bring those to justice who committed these murders.
I can't wait for justice to come to roost. I cannot wait. We'll find out exactly what happened. Well, we have some new information. A fast team of Marines from Spain were sent to guard the embassy in Tripoli. I don't know if the president understood, or the State Department, or the Defense Department, or the intelligence community. I don't know if it says someplace on that live feed, Benghazi, not Tripoli. But I'm glad to see we had the fast team of the Marines from Spain sent to guard the embassy in Tripoli. Special Operations Force was moved from Central Europe to an Air Force base in southern Italy. I'm glad to see. I don't know if it said Tripoli on the feed or if it said Libya on the feed and not Spain or not Italy. But it would have been nice to have the guys in Italy move to Benghazi. That would have been nice. We had F-16s and Apache helicopters, but they were parked and unused in our northern Italy base. 2 Navy destroyers already in the Mediterranean Sea were moved off the coast of Libya the day of the attack, but they were never, ever called upon or used. Why? is that? Well, they were trying to figure out the YouTube video. But remember, a Facebook post is not information and certainly not reliable. But apparently a YouTube video is. It's fascinating. She says we're cherry picking. This is from the State Department. This is the information. This is the information she had. Page after page after page documents. None of them mention the YouTube video. There are 12 reports that are still classified that we don't have. 12 of them. We are told that none of them mention a YouTube video. All of them conclude this was a terrorist attack. They were on the president's desk within 6 hours of the attack. Here are 3 documents. 3 documents that went to the State Department, went to the Department of Defense, and went to the White House Situation Room. All of them said an attack, and it is a terror attack. We have live video. What else do you need? What else do you need? We're holding ourselves accountable? In what way? By blaming something you know full well was not the cause? By deflecting criticism? By denying reality? These people don't even know the definition of the word accountable. We're all the leftists who screamed at the top of the lungs. No one died when Clinton lied about Bush's so-called lie about weapons of mass destruction. They're still doing it on the internet. They're still talking about weapons of mass destruction. Here we are with 4 dead Americans and more lives at stake. Plenty of lives. Your life. Ask your Obama-supporting friends again. Is this the change you hope for? If so, heaven help us all. God, may God forgive and God forget that you are my countrymen. By the way, do you know who we have now investigating this? We now have investigating this. He is going to get to the bottom of it. It's Thomas Pickering. Thomas Pickering was put in charge by the White House of the Benghazi massacre investigation. He's an apologist for Islamic terrorism and a supporter of Iran. He also serves on the advisory board of the National Iranian American Council. This is Iran's lobbying wing in the United States, the NIAC. It supports engaging Iran and lifting all U.S. sanctions. That's the guy the president has said, let's have him looking into what's going on in Benghazi. He works with CARE, which, of course, is a Muslim Brotherhood affiliate, named by the DOJ as an unindicted co-conspirator in the 2007-2008 Holy Land Foundation trials. He Pickering calls for bilateral talks without any preconditions and a plan for multinational uranium enrichment consortium for Iran. He supports Iran being able to have more uranium. Iran has proposed a similar plan to the UN Security Council, but this plan didn't go through. But Pickering is still there in the White House trying to force it through. He advocates a process of leading to multi-diplomatic relations between Iran and the United States. When this organization that he is on the board of, the NIAC, this is the National Iranian American Council, when it lost an important defamation case in federal court last month, they lost a court battle. The court battle was, they said, you're defaming us. You're saying that we're just a tool of Iran. And the court said, yeah, you are. Mr. Pickering was reached by the New York Times. Hey, how do you feel about being a tool of Ahmadinejad's Iran and the Muslim leadership? He said, well, and you ready for this? This is from the New York Times. I am on the board of the advisory board, but I've never been to a meeting, and I'm not really familiar with the operations of the organization. Excuse me, Mr. Pickering? You're what? He also said, that you say this is a lobbyist group, but it's really not. Well, how do you know it's not a lobbyist? You don't even know what they do, apparently, even though you're on the advisory board. He was also the co-chairman, of the board of directors for the International Crisis Group. That's the group that has the executive committee headed by George Soros, the International Crisis Group. Those are the ones that put together the responsibility to protect, which led us into Libya. This is who is investigating for this White House. I can't wait to hear the facts. This is extraordinarily dangerous. We haven't had a time in our history like this since the end of the Second World War. And the end of the Second World War led to trials. Because people were, we were at war, sure. We were at war. But here's what happened. We got into bed with the communists because we needed to defeat fascism. There were three things that we needed to defeat. And we were foolish enough not to rely on divine providence and the protection of divine providence. We were foolish enough. We said, we can't do this by ourselves. And so what did we do? We set out to defeat two of the three evils of the Second World War: fascism and Nazism. And we embraced communism. We brought them inside and said, hey, they're our friend. Well, once we finished the war and they started stealing our secrets and they had infiltrated, that's what caused the, quote, Red Scare. That's what caused the blacklisting and everything else, because Americans needed to know who was an enemy. It led to trials like this. This is what I have in my hand. This is the original documentation of the Rosenberg trial. This is the work of the only execution for espionage of a woman in American history. I think we executed one other woman for the assassination of Lincoln. Didn't we assassinate a woman for Lincoln? But this is for espionage. These are the original court documents. We're headed towards this period again. We're headed towards a period where we have brought the enemy inside. We have brought people in through this administration and the past administration. But this administration has gone off the rails. There's a difference between mistaken and suicidal. And there's a difference between suicidal and treasonous. It will be up to us, the American people, to decide who's done what. But I will tell you, you cannot tell me that we're mistaken anymore. When I was telling you that the Muslim Brotherhood was not largely secular and that we shouldn't be in bed with them, when I was telling you when the glorious revolutions were happening, we are aiding and abetting Al-Qaeda, you still could say, well, we don't have all of the information, but we do have all of the information now. Do you know who was paid to protect our ambassador the night of September 11th? Do you know who they were? This was the February 11th Martyrs Brigade. I don't know if we should be spending money on anybody who has martyrs in their title. We're not sure if they're extremists or not. We're not sure if they're religious extremists. They're just the Martyrs Brigade. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty good tip there, that they are extremists. But maybe I'm being too harsh. The February 17th, and they're calling them now in the press just the February 17th Brigade. They're intentionally deleting one word from their real name. They were stationed at the barracks at the time of the attack. A spin-off of the February 17th Martyrs Brigade is the Ansar al-Sharia, supporters of Islamic Law Brigade. They're linked directly to Al-Qaeda. Just so you know, the Martyrs Brigade, it's no big deal. They've just said recently that there is no such thing as real democracy because democracy goes against God. Because that's man making laws, and only God can make laws, and he's already made them, and it's the Sharia law, and it will rule the world. That is who this administration paid to protect our ambassador. Stupidity? Suicidal? Or treason? Americans will have to decide.